Well, good morning, everybody. Pleasure to be here. It's my first time at this Coronado facility as well, and it's quite enjoyable. I very much appreciate the warm NASBA welcome last night. That was very, very nice, and I know we've had our challenges as a California board being present and active at the various NASBA meetings. But let me start by introducing our California team. And I've got, joining with us is another CBA board member, Mark Silverman, if you could please stand. Mark has joined us. We've got former CBA members who are very known to you because they're very active with NASBA in Sally Flowers and Ruben Davila, if you could both stand if you're in the room. But they're here. And then we've got, from our CBA, very important to what we do at the CBA, are advisory committees that we have, made up of CPA volunteers in the state. And we've got Bob Lee, who's chair of our Peer Review Oversight Committee. Sherry McCoy, I know she had another commitment, not sure if she's in the room right now, but she will be here. She's our vice chair for that committee, and they're both very active in our various advisory committee activities. CBA staff, if you could all stand, Patty Bowers, our executive director, Deanne Pierce, the assistant ED, and Gina Sanchez, who leads our licensing division. From the Cal CPA, a great partner for us at the CBA, Jason Fox, if you can stand. He's been instrumental in what we do in our overall CBA efforts. And not here right now, but from our Attorney General's office, another partner, certainly in our enforcement and disciplinary processes, Carl Sani will be joining us. And I'll say a few words a little later about just a partnership with NASBA in terms of how important that's been to us in our CBA deliberations, especially over the last couple year or two as we've dealt with some pretty meaty issues. So back to the process at hand. As president of the California board, it's certainly my great honor to welcome you to our beautiful state. And we're certainly fortunate that NASBA has chosen this state, this city, to host this Western Regional meeting. And we can certainly enjoy some incredible beaches. It is only a bit of the overall 3,500 miles of breathtaking California coastline. The other thing about California is that, and if we can, I don't have a clicker. Oh, I do have a clicker. Oh, man. Maybe I do. I don't know where I have to. There we go. So California is a state of great diversity. It is a minority-majority state with nearly 60% of the population being Latino or other minority groups, and over 25% of our population being non-U.S. born. It is also a very geographically diverse state. You can go from the lowest to the highest points in the same day. So you could be in Death Valley at sub 300 feet, or close to 300 feet, and to the, if I can not be technically challenged here, I'd get through these faster, and to the high point at Mount Whitney with almost 14,500 feet. And so it is an incredible state, also known as the Golden State. It's home to many firsts. And if we put Silicon Valley to the side, which obviously is a great first in terms of what we have here in California, but you've got fortune cookies, theme parks, blue jeans, and the Barbie doll, all invented in California. So that's just great. And California is the country's top state in cash farm receipts, growing nearly half of all fruits, nuts, and vegetables. Almonds are the biggest export, followed very closely by dairy and wine, of course. We partook in quite a bit of that yesterday evening at the Great Reception. We also have the 7th largest economy in the world, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. You know, we have the country's largest population with approximately 40 million residents, meaning 1 in 8 U.S. Individuals or 1 in 8 individuals living in the U.S. are in California. Not surprising then that we regulate nearly 100,000 licensees, the largest group of licensed accounting professionals in the nation, including individuals, partnerships, corporations. And we certainly didn't start as the largest accountancy board in the nation. We were created in 1901, and by 1906, we issued 65 licenses. And we were originally headquartered in San Francisco, but in 1906, the great earthquake and fire destroyed all of the records of the original board. And with that, the documents of the original 65 licensees. However, in 1907, then Secretary-Treasurer of the CBA, Mr. T.E. Atkinson, meticulously reconstructed those records by corresponding with each licensee. Certainly not using Facebook or LinkedIn or all these other means that we have today, but reconstructed that, and through that diligence, was able to recreate that information, which is now housed in our archives. And certainly now, as it was then, the primary mandate and the highest priority is to protect consumers by ensuring that only qualified licensees practice public accountancy in accordance with professional standards. We have a 15-member board in California, and it is a public member majority in California. So 8 of our slots are public members, which offers just an incredible voice to us in our CBA deliberations. You know, and there's a variety of issues that we've had to tackle collectively, and both CPAs and non-CPAs have been able to enrich and contribute to that dialogue very effectively. One such issue is the attest requirement. And yes, in California, we're among the probably few states that have an attest experience requirement with our requirements in terms of ability to sign reports on attest engagements in California. We're in the early stages of an in-depth and thorough study of this requirement. We've had dialogue, task forces over time, and we've decided to embark on a survey process, both at the national and state levels, to assist in determining whether to maintain, modify, or eliminate that requirement. We will be surveying a wide range of groups in California: consumers, applicants, licensees of differing experience levels, as well as accounting department faculty at various colleges and universities. And then for the national portion of that study, we're preparing a survey that will go out to the other state boards, and this is where we'll need your help, and seeking responses and answers on other states' experiences with or without the attest requirement. And this is going to allow the CBA to compare what other states have done, those outcomes have been, and will help inform the plan that the CBA develops going forward. So we certainly would appreciate your participation, and we look forward to obtaining your responses. Another continuing focus is mobility. California adopted mobility, but with a sunset date of 2019. And so there's a lot of things that we have to accomplish between now and 2019 to continue to afford that practice privilege avenue. And in adopting mobility, we also created a mobility stakeholder group really aimed at the protection of consumers and ensuring that the activities that we need to perform go in accordance with the intent and the mindset of the folks that helped and were instrumental in that regulation. This is a group, the Mobility Stakeholder Group, better named MSG, is intended to be representative of stakeholders of the accounting profession in the state, consumers, and it will advise the CBA on mobility-related issues, and including whether the mobility-related regs continue to provide the appropriate protections for consumers in the state. The MSG will be issuing its final report to the CBA in 2017. Just click through. The other big activity we've had this year is Sunset Review. We were up for Sunset Review in this period that really took place in the first calendar quarter, really allowing the state legislature to assess whether or not we as a board are fulfilling the charter and the requirements of our board. And so this certainly entailed, and you all are familiar with that, submitting a detailed report of the CBA's activities over the last 4 years. And I am certainly happy to report that the relevant Senate committee has introduced legislation to extend the sunset date for the California board from 2016 to 2020, allowing us to continue to regulate the accounting profession in California. And another important issue impacting certainly our overall profession is ensuring appropriate access and opportunities to aspiring CPAs from diverse groups. Yesterday in the new member orientation, we had some good dialogue around efforts with diversity, not only of our state boards, NASBA as a whole, but frankly of what do we need to do to continue to foster avenues for future CPAs. At Deloitte, I serve, and I'm a partner at Deloitte in the audit practice there, but I serve as our Western region audit diversity leader. And so this is certainly an area that I am incredibly passionate about, and a challenge of continuing to attract, retain, and develop diverse professionals is certainly a continuing focus and a business imperative for us. And the CBA embarks on significant outreach efforts at various universities. And luckily in California, the demographics are on our side in terms of the individuals that we're able to tap into and hopefully inform about the riches of our profession. So covering various issues that we at the CBA have been focused on. And let me tell you, I mean, NASBA has been a close partner for us every step of the way, and we've made great use of the resources that NASBA has to help inform our dialogue. Not drive the dialogue, not do any of that, but to come and provide education and background and context. And Ken and Maria and Colleen and their teams have been instrumental at coming out and joining us at regular meetings as we've gone through and evaluated issues. As a relatively new member to the California board, that's been key. That's been just very important to know what the national scene is. When we're dealing with mobility and all of the issues that come with that, understanding what the broader context is has been important. I know that our CBA staff have worked very closely with the NASBA staff to ensuring we make the best use of their time and that we incorporate that into appropriate touch points in our meetings. So we certainly appreciate that collaboration, and it certainly, now I'm going too fast, and it certainly is helpful to then have meetings in California that we can certainly engage in, and there is no lack of desire for us to engage in what's happening at the national scene, that is for sure, but having a forum that helps facilitate that is important. Couldn't pick any better location than Coronado, that is for sure. You look around, and certainly yesterday afternoon, for those of you that were able to partake, you may wonder how in the world do you ever focus and get anything done. Although we got Ed from Kauai, yeah, that's probably a tougher one in terms of how do you focus and get things done. But it does take, obviously a lot of focus, accountability, and dedication to what our intended mission is. We're not always surrounded with this beautiful type of environment that you are experiencing here, but thank you, NASBA, for selecting Coronado for this meeting. And since we are here several days, I would encourage you to take advantage of your surroundings. Coronado Island is known for its beautiful beach, quaint shops, and great restaurants. If you would like to get some exercise, there are bike rentals, running paths all along the beach that cover the 15 miles of trail on the island. 15 miles of trail, that's a lot of exercise opportunity there. We're also about 6 miles to San Diego, which is also wonderful to explore. It's the oldest town in California, founded in 1769. It has been it has an enchanting natural beauty and is home to Balboa Park, home to the San Diego Zoo, and numerous museums and more than 68 miles of beaches in and around the city. Where's the other one? Okay. So there's Balboa Park, San Diego Zoo. I stopped clicking, sorry. There's also the USS Midway Museum. And so if you haven't already been in the Navy and haven't experienced an aircraft carrier, there's your opportunity. There's the gas lamp quarter. I saw some of the sign-up sheets, I guess, outside for dining opportunities. Very popular way to spend the evening. Beautiful location, lots of restaurants. hence the mentioning of the exercise opportunities a little bit earlier. But with all that, certainly business before pleasure. I certainly appreciate the opportunity to welcome you all, but I'd like to turn the program over to Chair Walter Davenport and President Ken Bishop, who will outline ongoing activities and current challenges for the board. So thank you very much.